What's up, everybody? This is your boy Marcus Lewis, and this is episode 1 of Ask a Jazz Dude, where Eddie Moore comes through. Let's get right to it.
Ask a Jazz Dude.
No. Let's start the show. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Marcus Lewis, and this is episode 1 of Ask a Jazz Dude. What's up? Big shout out to Ryan Heinlein there. He's laughing at us. We can bring that comment in a minute. So our first guest for the show is Eddie Moore. Welcome, Eddie Moore.
What's going on?
What's up, dude? How you feeling?
Good.
Good.
Chilling.
Good. So Eddie Moore, for the people out there that don't know who you are, should be very few. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
I'm a pianist, mainly a jazz pianist. I have a group, Eddie Moore in the Outer Circle. Started them in like 2012. Play all over, play a lot in Kansas City. We're all based here. Put our last album on Rope-a-Dope Records. It's entitled Kings and Queens. Originally grew up in Houston and been in Kansas City for a while, probably since 2010, and graduated from UMKC.
Cool.
So, it's pretty much that in a nutshell.
Cool. Quinn Wallace says, "What's up, Eddie? How's it going?" Hey, check out, guys. We can do things like this. We can be like, Quinn Wallace says, "How's it going, Eddie?" Just like that. Bam. Technology. Anyways, we're not gonna be scripted here. We're just gonna go right off the cuff. We do have a topic that is we're gonna talk about touring, but we're gonna get into that later. I'm gonna ask Eddie some questions, and then I want you guys, first of all, to start sharing this feed. I'd like to have maybe like a good goal for first show would be 100 people watching this live broadcast. Of course, we'll post it to the page later, but go ahead and start sharing it so we can get like 100 people, and then hopefully at least 1,000 views of the first show within today. So, Eddie, tell us a little bit about how you got into music.
Okay. I've been playing piano for a while. My mom, I guess a lot of our parents make us take lessons, so I started that way. My mom's a vocalist. Started playing piano probably the age of 4, taking private lessons.
Right.
Throughout the years, in high school, did marching band and everything.
Cool.
I decided to get into jazz through my love for hip hop around college, and started to study it more seriously. I went to undergrad at Texas Southern and did all that, and then moved here and started to progress it. Just my love for music and all kinds of stuff. So
very cool. So, one thing I want to get into is so the name of your band is The Outer Circle. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Okay. There's a couple meanings. The main one is, the way I think about rhythm section communication, and I'm a real big Miles Davis fan, and so I think about the outer circle of communication that we're really doing with improvisation, and the conversation of us speaking to each other. My band is guitar, bass, piano, and drums, and so that really made sense. I was like the outer circle dude, so it made sense for that too. And just even how I got started in being a band leader, just started writing music and putting guys together. So
cool. Yeah. So guys, start posting some questions here because I only got like 2 or 3, so we got to go for 30 minutes. We might not have enough time. So start posting those questions here. So Outer Circle. Let's talk about a little bit about how you feel about the state of the scene in Kansas City.
It's really good. I think it's on the cusp of like true greatness and the recognition that I think Kansas City deserves as a music town. There's always been a ton of great musicians that have come from here that live here now.
Right.
I think some of the best musicians in the world live in Kansas City right now. There's a lot going on. I think that if we put some things in motion as a jazz or a musician community, and really stick to our guns, then more people will want to come here and share their art just to be a part of the scene, from everywhere. And then we can build these bridges from Kansas City to other cities, which is why I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, because this is very, very important. We're going to talk about some things that can change. The power, I believe, is in our hands as musicians. Like, none of these venues can have doors open or make any money without us. Bottom line, like,
dude,
clearly, if we don't
100.
play music in any venue, they don't open.
Right.
Think about that, y'all.
That's so true, so true. Oh, okay. There's a first question, so we're going to bring this question up. It's from Quinn Wallace, who actually, Quinn sent us in a video question that we're going to get into later. Quinn is hungry, young, hungry
Definitely.
kid. And so this is his question. I'm curious to know how the Outer Circle got started. So that's from Quinn Wallace.
Okay. It got started for my drive to play music with the incredible musicians that I was meeting. We were all at UMKC. I started in a trio with Ryan Lee and Dominique Sanders, and I was already writing music, and I felt, when you start a band, you should come to the table with doing arrangements of songs that you like, if not writing original music.
Oh.
I felt like that is key. That immediately separates you from everyone else.
Dude, I believe in that.
Right, of course, And so I started doing that and workshopping that at UMKC. They were putting us in the studio already as students to record, and so I was like, man, let me record some of my songs. I was really influenced by, like, Herman Mahari and the things that Diverse was doing when I moved here.
Right.
They were already touring and going to Paris in college, and it made it all a reality, that our friends are doing this, I can do this, we can do this. And I started just hitting the ground and writing tunes and booking gigs and playing with people and just networking, really. It all started in college. I mean, I feel that's what college is for. It's not about the degree necessarily, but about the networking and the people that you meet and the tools that you hone in. Because after school, all the gigs that I've done and all the tours we've done, no one asked me to see my degree.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. College is, like, very underrated as a networking opportunity. You look at a lot of the guys that, like, are big in the jazz scene now, like, they either went to a high school together,
Right?
Because they have bands that play together. Like, that's a whole other thing that we need to get into. Like, I got so many ideas for topics. You guys can also comment on some ideas for topics that you want to hear about. But yeah, just jazz bands. We don't really have bands anymore. Like, we need bands. Like, and I think the music will be at a higher level if we have bands.
Definitely. And I stuck to my guns on, like, making rehearsal a requirement.
Right.
Like, we needed to do that if we were going to play this music and be tight like the musicians I wanted. And that, the band has changed a lot for a lot of that reason. And you just got to, like, put that kind of work in. We look at these groups, you take Chick Corea or Herbie, for example, and we're like, oh, man, these guys are really tight and they're really great. Yeah, because they play together every day.
Yeah.
Like, all day. Like, they do that.
Right, they do. Okay, we got another one here. This is a good one from Ryan Heinlein. Ryan's got a great band called Project H, which you play in from time to time, right? Or
Yeah.
You play with them. Ryan goes, there's been talk about the lack of national notoriety and that KC guys get. How do we improve this?
That's a good one.
Sorry.
I think we improve this by taking ourselves more seriously.
Right.
And what I mean by that is, thinking bigger than Kansas City, thinking bigger than where you are, like your region. Do people know about you in, like, Oklahoma or Tulsa? Getting out, and then us taking ourselves seriously and putting together bands. We're going to talk about a topic of touring, and it's like, how do you tour? Well, first, the mentality of us as jazz musicians isn't in the right. Rehearsals.
What up, Mitch Chow?
Rehearsals, man. But it starts there. It starts in the mentality of our bandmates. As jazz musicians, we think, oh, we got to go out of town. I need to make more money. I need to stay in a hotel. I need all this and this and this and this because I can make more money at home. Yeah, that's true, but you want notoriety outside of your city, you're going to have to grind. These rock bands and the rock band mentality isn't like that. We they band together, they buy merch together, they put in because they know that we have to do a certain amount of things to get our product on the road. And so we just need to take ourselves more seriously in that regard. I feel,
Dude.
It's not about the talent. We all have amazing talent, but we need 5 to 7 guys to really be down for the cause, so you can make these moves and get your music out to the people. There's a lot of steps to that. Social media plays a lot into that. Like, if you throw a show, how many of your bandmates are sharing flyers?
Nope.
How many of your bandmates are going to the page and inviting their 50 friends to the event?
Yeah, like, dude, like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm so, like, into community, and, like, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this thing is, like, I feel like if we can all build something together, then, like, amount of leverage is, like, huge. Like, it's, like, you know what I mean? Like, where you can have the leverage to say, oh, I want X amount of dollars, and I do need these things, and I need you to promote the show as well as me promoting the show. Like, it's just, like, I think so many people have been just willing to take a gig. And then the guys who are, like, great players, they take a gig, but they're not really invested in the music. You know what I mean? I mean, like, this is a place where I want people to be, like, honest. Like, come on the show and we can talk about, like, what it is. Oh, man, this is great. We're going to do one more question here from Austin.
I just want to say, like, that statement you just made is what plagues our city. Yeah. As a whole. Like, guys, that's what plagues our city. Like, that is the main reason why it's hard to get our music out. The investment from our peers,
Oh, Matt Harnett, your boy.
Hey, what up, Matt?
He said, I think if KC guys went to New York in large numbers.
That is true, but getting back to what me and Marcus are talking about, what does it take to get to I went to New York at this time last year with the group, and we played Rockwood Music Hall. We did a So Far in New York, and we did another thing. We went to a Rope-A-Dope meeting, and, what does it take for 4 guys to go to New York as a band? Are we looking for one guy to fund that, buy plane tickets, get the hotel, get your instruments up there, write all the music, book the shows, promote it, and do all these things? Or are 3 other guys going to split that, help on that?
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot for one person to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of bread.
Yeah. All right, one more question. This is a good one. This one might be a little touchy, but we're gonna keep it real. So this is from Austin Saber, a great trombone player who I met a few weeks ago. We did Trombonopolis, I think is what it's called, at Washburn University. He goes, do you have any issues with the conservatory model of higher education? Ooh. If so, does it help or hurt the authenticity of learning improvisation and language? Bam. That's a great question.
That is a great question. Can you pull that up so I can?
Oh, I'll go back.
That's so deep.
Oh, man, I got rid of it. Can I go back? How do I go back? Oh.
I think, just from, we're trying to pull the question back up, but, the conservatory model of higher education, first of all, it's about how you look at it as an individual. Right. I went to college to learn how to play. Right. So the conservatory is going to teach you how to play. That's their job. My beef with maybe higher education is they don't put enough emphasis on the business of music. That's what's going to get you work. We often hear that, it's a music business. It's 90% business, 10% about how well you actually play. That's my thing, like how to make money as a musician. I think higher education and the conservatory can spend a lot more time. I think they need to shift that, like, yes, make you a great player, but also make you a great businessman. How to do your taxes, how to book shows, how to get the guarantees you need, how to create an experience on stage where people will even want to hear the great music you have to play. That's like part of it.
I guess I can answer that question too. Yeah, I believe in the conservatory model as far as like it helping develop you as a musician and learning tools and networking. But yeah, I wish schools would focus more on the business side of things, because people don't know how to get gigs or like what it takes to get gigs. It'd be great so we could have I'd love to interview some club owners in town and see what their process is for how they like things to submit, like what are they looking for, how can we build a better relationship between club owners and musicians, because like Eddie said, like without them, without us, they can't make money. People aren't going to just come and buy drinks if there's no music. If it's like that type, you can have venues where it's just all about the drinks and the food, but like if you just have a venue with drinks in it, you're going to need a reason to keep people there.
Right.
There's other places, and that's the game. It's like entertain people, keep them there so they can buy more drinks, and that's how they make their money.
Right. And then, that performance as a musician is only one side of a cube. Mm-hmm. So, like, we all write.
Yeah.
So then, like, how do you make your money? Does the conservatory teach you how to, like, get your publishing?
Yeah.
Does the conservatory teach you, what you should be looking for to get this residual income, which is a big part for, composers and composition, So when you even go to start your own band and you start writing music, you now open yourself up to this revenue if you're thinking about it.
Right. Yeah. Man, that's so true. So, man, I feel like, I don't know, man, this show, like, we might have to, like, do a little bit longer.
Okay.
I mean, just like, in general.
Right.
Because I feel like we could elaborate a lot more on these questions. By the way, if you leave a question or a comment, guys, please continue to share this video. We're trying to really get it up and build some sense of community. And not just people we want, like, people who don't even play jazz to ask us questions. It can be about anything. It could be about, like, what did you think of the fire on the roof of Trump Tower today? Like, whatever. Like, it can be anything. Yeah, there was a fire.
Oh, wow.
There was a fire on Trump Tower today, like on the roof.
Okay.
So, anyways.
Did he light himself up?
Yeah. Oh, is that too soon? It's too soon? Okay. Anyways, so what we're going to do now is I want to play a little bit of music, and then I want you to talk about the topic, which is touring, like how you can tour as a musician. Vincent Williams, Eddie Moore, how can I get hair like yours?
Grow dreads for 10 years
Yeah.
and stay dedicated.
Yeah. That's over for me. I'd be like the dude with the
he got him in the back. Hey, some people hold on to them that long, y'all.
that's the Stevie Wonder, right?
Right.
All right. Anyway, so Eddie, tell us about you released a single, right?
Right.
So tell us a little about. That's what I'm going to play. I'm going to play a video of your single, and I think that's really cool because jazz musicians don't release singles.
Right.
But
right.
Why shouldn't we release singles? Like,
okay.
You know what I mean? It's like,
you're right.
It's like jazz historically like times are changing. Like,
right.
I forget, like, I had some notes of basically like where streaming has gone up so much, and it's like, man, like we have to move with the times. We can't like
definitely,
keep. So tell us about the single.
The music industry is always changing, like how you're saying, and I've been, asking the real question is like, how do you sell an album and what, and all those things. And I've been looking at other genres, and so the single came, I wrote 007, which is the single we're going to play. I've been messing with a new creative process just for me because technology is a trip, man. You have to use it. I used to write everything out by hand, and that was cool, and so I made this one in Logic. It came from an electronic space where I could hear everything and like kind of do some things different. And so I made it a single because I just wanted to put out one song. I also kept it under 5 minutes, which if you're familiar with Outer Circle music is a huge thing for me. Because on Kings and Queens show, like every track is like 8 to 10 minutes long.
Yeah, and people for radio, especially if they're going to play it on radio, they're going to play songs that are shorter.
They're going to play, exactly. And so that's part of it. I also did a single because as we're noticing, downloads are going down, streams are going up. My hope and goal was to test it out for playlists. Like, can this make a playlist? What will that do?
Yeah. Cool. So this is, maybe we'll play the whole thing. Maybe we'll just play a little bit of it. But this is Eddie's new single, 007, and we'll tell you how you can get that in just a second. All right, yeah, guys, that was Eddie Moore in the Outer Circle, and that tune was 007. So type in the comments what you thought about it. As Quinn Wallace said, it was fire, and I do agree. I remember at the Jazz Festival this summer, listening to you guys play this tune. It's probably was it first time live at the gym, or had you guys played it out before?
I think we had been playing it on tour.
Okay,
yeah, we had been playing that one on tour.
Okay, so that's a great segue. So what advice, we finally got to our topic, guys. So what advice could you give for musicians, but in particular jazz musicians, on how to tour and how to make it where, you can end up with some money in your pocket at the end of the tour? I don't know if that's possible.
I'm broke. There's a few things. I've kind of, I guess, narrowed it down to like 8 big things that you should think about if you feel your band is ready to be on tour and you want to take your product some other places. None of these are in like an order of importance. I just kind of wrote numbers down. So I think the first thing is to research the venues you want to play in the cities you want to go. So like, by that, like you say, like, well, how do I know, or how do I find the venues that are a best fit for my band? Well, be honest to the kind of music that you play, and then look up, the venues that cater to that music in that city, or bands like you that are playing these venues. For instance, if you are a straight ahead guy, you're hardcore, you want to go to Chicago, you should know the places in Chicago that cater to swing, which might be like the Jazz Showcase or Martyrs or, the Hi-Hat, or just do that research. So like that's step one. The next one, and all these work in conjunction with each other, map out your calendar. Know where you want to be, like, because to book a tour, you need to start 6 to 10 months out. So you need to know where you want to be 10 months from now. So like 10 months from now is what? Next September? Yeah. So you need to say, hey, I want to go here next September. You look up the venues that cater to the music, the bands that sound like you that play. And, I always try to anchor the tour with a big gig or a festival. And we all know that festivals definitely book a year out. So you need to know where you want to be. Map your calendar out, and then start connecting the dots with smaller places, schools, colleges, stuff like that. The next one that's really important, you guys want to get paid, you want to get your money back, your investment. So you guys we have to hustle guarantees. That piggybacks on, the culture of, because we're talking about jazz dudes. I'm a jazz guy that I also float a rock band mentality in those groups, and these are very different mentalities, y'all. They are. We're used to, as jazz guys, getting guarantees off the bat for like a 4-hour set. The going rate is like $400 for a 4-hour gig, and we're cool with that. Don't do that anymore. When you're on the road,
we're not cool with that.
We're not cool with that. Yeah, we're not cool with that. But yeah, we do it. We do it. So like, when you're on the road, it's like, do you want to play a 4-hour gig for $400? Are those the gigs that you're looking for? Or are those the rooms you're looking at? That also goes back to like being true to, what genre you sit in, or like the room. Every room's different. So hustle the guarantees. Are you trying to play a door gig? Know the culture of door gigs and how to promote and how to hustle a guarantee at a door type venue. That is very different, because you're not playing 4 hours anymore. You're creating an experience for a set, which is an hour and a half, or 2 sets, or something like that. So hustle your guarantees and be realistic about your draw. Like, that's the main thing. Like, how are you going to prove your first time in Chicago that you can bring at least 50 people out? Like, we're talking about selling hard tickets at the door, like pre-sale type stuff. So that's the thing. That becomes a big thing. The fourth one that I wrote down is invest money into travel. You're going to need to rent a van. You might need to rent a trailer, depending on if you can fit all your gear in that van. You need to pay for gas. You need to have an Airbnb or crash. That money has, that's the investment. You have to put that money somewhere to pay for that. Yeah, but I've had a great experience with Airbnb.
I was just joking.
Yeah, and that's a good way to travel. We went to last year. I made I wrote down one of my goals. Is I want to go to a different city.
I'll be right back. I'm just gonna fix that camera.
Yeah, sure,
while
do
you
your
talk.
thing. I made the goal. It's I want to go to a different city every month. Can we tour somewhere every month? And so we did Airbnbs. I've done them in New York with groups of people. I've done them in Austin and Denver. You just need to make sure that we as a band treat the place with respect, because it is about your integrity. And if you have a bad rating, you're not going to get places. Hotels are very, very expensive for multiple people. The next most important thing is the email. How do you even, once you found your map and you've researched the venues that you want to go to, you got to email this person that you don't know, that doesn't know you, and what does that look like? There's a couple things that should be in that email and the state of mind you should be in. Be professional. Don't open that email like, hey, what's up? My name's da-da-da-da-da from Kansas City. Be professional. Use that college experience and writing papers and, address it. If it doesn't have, the contact person's, the booker's name on it, say to who this may concern, and open your email like that. Make it short, direct, and to the point. They don't have a lot of time to read this long lengthy email with your long bio and all that. Third, be able to vouch for your following somehow in this email. How you need to, because that's what they're looking for. Who are you? How many people are you going to bring? Which says why I should book you. That gets back to being realistic about your draw. So with that, you need, to, when you go to a new city, it's how do you get people out? Clinics help. Connecting with colleges and schools help.
Wow.
Connecting with friends. We all have friends in different places, so that helps. Getting on the radio. Local radio helps. And most colleges have local radio that play our music as instrumentalists. Also, have specific dates that you're going to be in town. That goes to you making that map and saying, I want to be here in September. It's now, December or whatever. Say I'm trying to book this venue this weekend or this weekend. So it pinpoints right to the time that you're going to be in that city. And they can look at their calendar and see if they have that date open for you.
Right.
And they're open to take a chance on spending a little bit of money on this brand new band that draws 50 people or whatever, The other important thing, fifth in the email, leave links to your social media. Matt Hartnett posted the question, getting your band up to New York multiple times, and, how do we build, we need to take ourselves more seriously in social media as jazz musicians.
Right.
It is your number one marketing tool. Right. It's never been easier to market yourself as an instrumentalist or even as a musician. So, build your following, leave links to your Instagram, that matters. Leave links to your Facebook band site with your 1,700 likes, that matters. Leave links to your official website and your YouTube video of something that has a great video quality, that matters. They want to see the experience you're going to build on the stage.
Right.
That matters to you getting booked.
I agree.
Second, you must be active on these platforms. I also think that, you're not going to book the gig in one email. That's not going to happen. You're not going to send out an email and say, hey, I'm this person, I'm on this label, and we do this and this and this and this. I can draw 50 people. I need a gig. It's not. They're going to reply to you, and they're going to, you're going to talk. It's going to be an exchange.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky and they reply.
Yeah.
We're talking about the email that you're going to send to build this connection to book your band around the world. We left off on leaving, links to your social media, to your, that's our credibility. If you have press links, the more press, the better. The
Right.
more videos you have of you playing that are good quality, not just camera videos on the table in the room, something that is going to show the person you want to get that $750 guarantee from, the kind of experience that you're going to create in their venue. So,
Right.
Leaving links, you might even have to call. You know, an email, how direct is an email, y'all? Like, you know, like, if I want to play with someone, is it going to work if I email them? Are they going to answer me?
I feel like, man, the future might even be like, we're not talking about right now, but like 5 years from now, where you might like DM the club on Instagram
Yeah.
to get a gig. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, like
I totally have. There's this venue in Austin that we talk on Facebook. She messages me on my band account on Facebook. I answer, and we book it. And they love us. It's a place on our first time. You know, we were a little weird. It wasn't a place that we normally play at. But once we played there, they loved the music. And I would never go to Austin without playing there. And,
right.
You know, we love that place. They're great. They treat us very, very, very well. And so, you know, you might have to DM them on Facebook. Like, look, you know, and if you do that and you think that's unprofessional, say, hey, I couldn't find your contact on your website, but I follow you on Facebook. I just wanted to connect with you, blah, 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 say your spiel. It's also a great place to see their links. They're going to go to your Facebook anyway and see how many likes you have, y'all. That's the first thing a booker does. And they go to your Instagram and see how many people are following you. That's the first thing they do. They don't even really care about your website.
Right.
You know, they can't see your draw on your website. And if you have a website and it doesn't have your social media links on it, think about it.
Right.
So you might even have to call them. They're very busy. Keep calling. You know, build that personal relationship with them because we all know that that's everything. You know, the thing about the email, the sixth thing that I have is, you know, follow up in a decent amount of time without being annoying and being professional.
Right.
Do not follow up to your email chain. Start another email chain. You know, like, don't reply and say, hey, I reached out about a month ago.
Right.
Did you get my email? It's above the top. Don't do that.
Yeah, because you make some sound,
Yeah, it's like, don't do that. Like, I used to do that, honestly. Like, don't do that. That won't work for you. Start a new email and stay persistent. You know, it's not personal that they're not calling you. Doesn't even mean that they don't like your music. They're just busy, man. People are blowing them up all the time. You know, the seventh thing, it's like, be consistent on where you want to tour. You know, you're going to have to go to these places a couple times to build your following and build fans in those cities. So, like, map out something, be persistent about going there the first time, and then try to be there at the same time next year or more often. You know, and that way you can that's how you build a bridge. You know, you build a bridge by going somewhere multiple times where they become familiar with you. It helps, you know, build credibility. You can get more money when you're there more times and so forth. Next thing is marketing. You know, how do you bring people to a place you've never been? That's the question you should ask yourself. Like, how am I going to get people to the show? I've never even been to San Diego. You know, what am I going to do? Some things you can do is, like, you know, do your research.
Yeah.
What are bands like mine doing? Where are they at? What blogs are they popping up on? What radio stations are they being played on? Where are the musicians? Where are the guys that are like me? I want to meet them. I want to see them. So, you know, hit up your college radio stations. Go to schools and promote. Do clinic before you do this big gig, and that way you get students out. You know, like the flyer. It's important to have a visual flyer. So, like, if you have a tour with 8 venues in 8 different cities, did you make a tour flyer? Did you send it to these venues 6 months out? All 8 of them. You know, like, where when you walk up to the door, they have your flyer on the door with the date on it. Like, just like you would if we were to play at Riot Room or something. So, like, do that. Share it on social media. You know, some venues actually in their contract require that you do that, else they won't even give you the gig. They'll take you off the calendar. So that's a big thing, you know, making a flyer, sending it out to social media, sending it to them to share, you know. Promotion with the venue is a 50-50 thing. It's not just all about you, but you have to give them the materials that are required. They're not going to make the flyer for you, man. Like, that's just not going to happen. And then the ninth thing that I have is, like, have your documentations in order. You know, whether that's, you know, if you're a Missouri resident now and I hope you know that you need a passport to fly domestic. So you need a passport to go anywhere on a plane. Second, like, have a credit card, because if you want to rent a car, you need a credit card. Not a debit card, but you need a credit card. have your license and all these things. These things can stop you from traveling. I've ran into situations where one guy didn't have a passport and he couldn't go, and I felt really, really bad. I was like, man, but there's really nothing I can do. Yeah. So those are important. I've also been through hell with rent-a-cars. And so, those are things to plan for, the logistics of actually getting the materials that you need to get on the road. I think all these things, like, piggyback onto each other. If you think your band is ready and you have these materials, I think the social media thing all plays into it as well. Then you might be ready to start, getting your band out on the road. They're all really important. That's kind of what I have for it in a nutshell. Feel free to ask some questions if you want me to elaborate on some of the things that I said and the topics, I'll pretty much answer any questions you have.
Cool, man. That was very, I thought it was very concise and informative. I learned a couple things about the process of that, and I'm ready to put those into motion. So we're going to wrap this show up. We're going to finish up with a little thing. We have a guest send us a question through video, and we're going to answer it to the best of our abilities. So this is Quinn Wallace, and he's got a video question for us.
Hey, how's it going? This is Quinn Wallace. This is a question for askajazzdude. I was just wondering about how the relationship between how much energy you put into being present on the scene, like going to people's shows, playing your own shows, versus how much energy you put into lonesome practice, shedding, how that relationship changes depending on certain circumstances, like for instance, being in college versus being out of college. Any other thing you can think of. Hopefully that makes sense. Thanks.
Oh, there we go.
We are bootleg over here. No sound.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that over again. I'm gonna rewind. Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year, y'all. I'm trying to get this together. Hopefully someday I can afford to have someone else run these controls. But right now I'm like hosting, talking, and doing the controls. So, yeah, it's back.
He's doing great. I love this though. This is going to be a great thing. I already, I believe in the vision. And so Quinn's question was basically like, how much should we be going out or seeing other musicians' shows and supporting, opposed to being on our own in the practice room and like spending time to shed and study and grow. I basically was saying that, find that balance between yourself. We as musicians are born loners. You spend a lot of time by yourself with your instrument, but it is important to, go see the shows that, you feel you need to see or you feel that will be fun. That might not even be jazz shows, y'all. Like, go to some rock shows. Connect with the other side of the community. Like, that's how I met Various Blonde, and I went on tour with them. And that's how I met 77 Jefferson, the reggae band that I did my first tours with, that I really learned a lot about touring.
Yeah.
These bands tour. They get, they're opening up. So hang out with them, go meet them, enjoy their music. You're going to want that same support when you step out on the scene. So just find that balance. And, if you can only make a couple shows a month, then you're out. You're doing it,
Yeah.
If you live in the city, man, it's actually pretty easy because they're all in Westport or Crossroads.
Yeah, that's it. Cool. So, yeah, sorry about the sound issue. So I'm going to have to, man, I was hoping that I could just, like, stream these videos and, like, then just post it and be done. But it looks like I'm going to have to go back and edit some stuff. But anyways, so that's the end of our show today. If you leave a comment, please comment. Please share the video. If you had some questions that we missed, I'm going to go through all the comments and try to answer the questions that we didn't get to throughout this next week. So, because we want everybody to get their questions asked, we just don't have enough time. So, anyways, this was the first episode of Ask a Jazz Dude. It was a little raggedy, but we did it. We did it. Give a shout out to Eddie Moore. You can find him at eddiemoremusic.com, right?
Yeah, I mean, or you could just add me on Instagram at More Piano,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, so You can find them, and we're going to close with a screen where you can get the website and all the socials. So thanks, guys, for listening in, and we'll see you next week at noon. Please spread the word. Please comment. Please go to Facebook, like Eddie Moore in the Outer Circle. I started a page for the Ask the Jazz Dude show. Hopefully, within 6 months, the show is just going to migrate there. Like my music page at Jazz Bonus. And yes.
February 1st.
Oh, dude.
Yo.
Okay, so February 1st. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. I wanted to talk about the projects that you were doing, like Fresh to Death.
They're not important. Just next February 1st is important.
Okay, so February 1st, which is a Thursday, first Thursday in February, the Marcus Lewis Big Band is going to be doing Eddie's Fresh to Death series, featuring Kemet, the Phantom, and Kadesh Flow, and we're going to do the most insane stuff that you've ever heard.
Yeah, that's about to be the most insane jam session.
Yeah, it's going to be a big band jam session, and not like where we're going to call a blues and F and everybody jam. It's going to be like we're going to totally create all the music on the spot. So if you're an MC, you're an instrumentalist, come in and get some vocalists. Poet, whatever, interpretive dancer, a clogger. We don't care. We gonna get it in. So February 1st, 7 to 11.
Yeah, 7 to 11.
And what's the cover?
I think the cover's 8. It's at the Record Bar.
Yeah, $8 at the Record Bar, and that's on Grand Street, like 15th and Grand.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the new Record Bar.
Best $8 you've ever spent.
Best $8. It's gonna be bananas. All right. See you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Did somebody say clog? Yeah, I said cloggers. Anyways, all right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Squad.